Hey guys, VTech here, Blueberry Hill. So here we are. We're going to start a little bit of electrical work, putting in the boxes for at least the lower sections. See how far I get today. That's not a big deal. We just have to measure consistently off the ground, hammer them to the 2x studs, and off we go. We did have a couple of very interesting days just trying to find product. It was very hard to go to one-stop shop to buy all the electrical boxes. I ended up buying a bunch of stuff on eBay as well as Amazon and Home Depot. Lowe's had different stuff. They didn't have what I wanted either for the most part, so it was either Home Depot, eBay, or Amazon. Prices vary quite a bit depending on what you're looking for. Some of them, people are trying to, rip everybody off. Like a box they want $20 per box when they're supposed to be like $3 to $4. So if you look at the right place, you'll find them. I ended up buying some like 70 or 80 boxes on eBay for like $4. It's a little bit more than typical because the price of stuff has gone up. We also had trouble finding breakers for the Square D Schneider electric panel that we're getting. I'm doing the same panel I have in the shop. It's a 42 space panel. We're doing mostly 20 amp circuits, and I am running all 12 gauge wire for all the circuits. Some are going to have a 15 amp breaker on them like lights, but the rest will have a 20 amp. I didn't want to mess with 14 gauge and 12 gauge and mixing them up. I'm just going to run everything 12 and be done with it, and then we shouldn't have any issues. Of course, the kitchen, offices, master bedroom, the apartment, main living room area, that will be all 20 amp, just so you can plug in, TVs and recording and all that stuff. So all the electronics that people use, and of course stereo and all that stuff in the living room. So we're going to have a little more power requirements there. But for the most part, we're just scaling up all 12 gauge wire. I already got some. I don't have it all. And we'll start running it hopefully tomorrow after I place the boxes where they should be. I don't have all the boxes yet. I didn't find the ones for lights for the ceiling, like for the kitchen and the little closet areas. That's coming. I couldn't find them locally, which is bizarre. I'll probably have to buy those on eBay again. Some places on Amazon had them, but they're wanting a whole lot of money for some of them. So I'm still digging on that one, but I haven't committed. Switches were another thing. We're going to kind of a decorative version switches, like toggle switches, and it's a pretty cool deal. You can put like 2 3-ways in one vertical toggles. So we're doing that to reduce the number of boxes we're using. So it's gonna be interesting. Hope it all works out. It looks simple, kind of modern-ish. We're not buying the super high-end, $50 switches either. We're doing nice looking switches that seem to work just nice. Anyway, you can see behind me there's stuff on the ground. I'm gonna start placing that. I ended up buying only three gang boxes. I need probably 17 2-gang boxes. I haven't gotten those either. eBay had them. Actually, no, I take that back. I did buy some 2-gang boxes this morning, and we'll work through that. So we'll see where everything ends up. Anyway, thanks for following along. Let's start working, and we're going to switch to time lapse, and we're just going to hammer some boxes on studs. See you in a bit. So we're using mostly this type of box. It's a B121 adjustable. You can adjust the sliding, the metal part slides in and out based on the screw, so you can get a different depth depending on where you place your stuff, how thick your drywall is going to be, etc. But these are nice boxes. They're a little more than the standard, simple $2 box, which has 2 nails and you just ram it in there and go. But they aren't adjustable, so I figured, well, this is all they actually had at Home Depot, and there was a box sitting there, and I just grabbed it up. I couldn't find the normal nail ones. Lowe's, I went there today to get some breakers. They actually had a whole bunch of a different manufacturer, but just the cheapo nail ones. I'd rather just upgrade all that kind of stuff a little bit. I feel better about spending, an extra $1 or $2. This kind of stuff. We do need like 130 of these things for lights and all the sockets we have throughout the house, so it's not entirely over cheap. We need they're like $4 a hit. It's $400 for stupid boxes, but hey, you got to do it. So anyway, follow along and we'll see where we get. Okay, so box 1 goes up. That's the first one I did. I made a stick that's 12 inches off the ground to the bottom of the sockets. Apparently you can go 12 to 16 inches off the ground for a typical socket layout. Switches around 48 inches. Some say top of the switch box is 48 inches. I went to the bottom. I
to you know, whatever comfortable arm reach is, and other houses that we visit. So they're all around there. But here's me running around, basically just placing all the sockets in the right spot, the boxes rather, and I snap them in. I ran out of them. I just did basically the offices, the middle containers, and most of the apartment, and then I ran out of the square boxes. So the single gang boxes, I had to wait for a couple days to get the next batch. Anyway, simple stuff. Just 4 screws hold each box on, and they feel pretty solid, so good deal for that.
So to make the standard box to fit, go around here. You can see that it's bent a little bit. I'm going to take the teeth off, straighten them out. Once they're straight, we're good, and then we're going to hammer it between that 2x4. Pretty straightforward. I guess I had to nail version 1, so it wouldn't matter. And then this is nailed up in here. Hammer. So I'm making a standard height is like 48 inches to the bottom of the switch for light switches. Can move around a little bit, I guess, but that's what most people find comfortable. And like I was mentioning earlier, I made you saw my little stick, 12 inches, and that's what I use to offset the bottom of the sockets from the ground. So I don't have to measure, I just put the stick down there and hit it like I'm gonna do right now. I might actually move this over here because I already have wire. Well, it doesn't really matter. I have to come down, you know, drill holes to put it in anyway, but yeah, whatever. We'll leave it here. Kind of in the middle of the room, the wall rather. There we go. Some stay up, some do not. Yay. I do like these because you screw them down and it's going to be really firm, really set. When you tug on the plug and nothing will happen. And of course that little screw you can go in and out, so it should work pretty good.
So I had to, just to have a little bit of offset from the doorway there, I put a 2x4 on another stud, as you see, and then I put the switch in place. For the 3-gang switches, this is for the kitchen area, dining room area, that require support. So basically you put 2 bys across and 1 up and down. I just made it bigger than not, just to make it more solid. Pretty straightforward. I had to redo this because I realized the mount they have on the 2x4 where the box mounts onto is higher out or further out than the little plate that you have on the right side of it that you screw to that 2x that I just did. It's a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch kind of difference. So anyway, I redid it, and then I had the idea, and then I went into the kitchen. This is for cabinet lighting, the lights in the kitchen, and what we call under cabinet lighting, which will probably be LEDs. Modernized lighting kind of solutions. So it should be pretty cool. We're pretty excited about the LEDs because they're not super bright, and they had a really nice mood to everything, and you can select colors for those special moments.
Hey guys, we got here at Blueberry Hills, so this is July 15th. So we're going to be starting lay some wire. I only was able to put 31 boxes in place yesterday. We're waiting on all the orders to come in, like I was saying in the other part of the video. We've got it coming from eBay, Amazon, and I did drop by Home Depot and Lowe's to pick up whatever they had. Anyway, I'm going going to start with the apartment in the middle rooms, the offices, and the hallways. I'm going to cut some holes in the container, the ceiling, run the wires through there, and what I'm going to do is make a little box incision and then bend the metal to a nice round shape. It'll be sealed anyway, but just as we're running wire, we don't cut anything or chaff the Romex insulation. Should be pretty straightforward. Kind of just working with metal. You don't want any rough, cut sharp edges. That might contact with the wire. So I'm going to round them all over just by bending them. I'm going to first cut the hole a little bigger and then bend the corners down. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to start that, and then we're going to put some wire through there. I'm going to start with 12 2-wire, which just is the power feed to the beginning of the circuits. And then hopefully, if I get it right, I have a diagram of what I need to be 3-wire, 12-3, to some of the switches and some of the cross-pollinations of the circuits. We're going to do socket circuit. We're going to split the offices up into 2 sections for that. All the lights are going to get connected with 1 circuit for the entire 2 containers in the middle, and the apartment's going to be the same. So all the lights in the apartment are going to be hooked up to the same deal, same power, of course different switches, and all the sockets in the apartment, it's going to be 2 circuits there, just to split up the load. We don't expect any crazy stuff to be plugged in, but it's going to be 20 amp. All the sockets are 20 amp. All the lights are 15 amp. So we're going to split that up, and I am going to drop separate GFI ARC fault GFI type of circuits for the bathrooms for the sockets. That's a requirement anyway. I don't like the GFI outlets, so we're just going to have an ARC fault GFI on the panel, which covers the entire set of circuits there. Well, it's 1 circuit. I'm going to piecemeal both the bathrooms together so they're on one circuit. It's a little extra wire, but I don't want to jinx anything up. We'll separate it out and we'll be good to go. And then of course the rest of the sockets are on their own circuits as well. So we'll have like 2 circuits for the middle, 2 circuits for the apartment sockets, 1 for the lights for both the middle and the apartment, and then 1 separate circuit GFI ARC fault stuff for the bathroom sockets. And that's basically pretty straightforward. Anyway, let's go with that. I'll start making the holes and pulling wire, and we'll see how that goes.
So I'm just going to make a square hole in the top of the, this is in my office, this is where the wires are going to get fed through. I bought an idea of bending the wire. I used a crescent wrench here, it didn't work too good, so then I went and got a hose, split it, and I rounded the open area with the hose. You see that very quickly. There you go. I'm going to do the same thing for the 2 other holes I'm going to make. So here's the one that's going to go in the shared bathroom. This is just for the GFI. The lights are going to come through the first hole I made, but you can see me putting the hose right there. That seemed to work pretty good. I cut 1 more hole. This is in the apartment, and so this is my access hole for putting the wires for the apartment in place. This all the plugs, electrical, even the bathroom wiring is going to go through the top here. Seemed like an easy solution. I think I ran away to go get the hose because I didn't bring back enough.
Here I'm already pulling wire.
Should take a few seconds for it to come back, and
probably
the light or the GFI one
good to
at this
go.
point. So I
running wire.
pull all the wire from the garage to where the dormer. So here I'm starting to pull the wire on the ceiling joists. You can see the 1 wire, that's for the actual GFI circuit. This one here I believe is for the lights, and that's going to go to the other side of the bathroom area where the light switch kind of starts, whatever. That's going to spring out to the light switches for the living room out there as well. Anyway, I'm going to have to run upstairs to put more wire into the ceiling or above the containers, and came back down so I had more lead. Basically, it's pretty easy to do this. It just everything routes on top of the 2-bys. So far, I hadn't had to drill holes for getting wire through 2-bys. That's going to change, of course, when I do the connected walls on the inside of the container. But for now, I'm able to string everything behind the 2-bys, so it makes it a lot easier than a typical construction setup where a ton of holes is required, and of course the connector, the little plastic staple nails that they use. I will need those as well, but not for now. Anyway, so far that's pretty straightforward. This didn't take very long, of course. It's just going upstairs, downstairs, and making sure I have enough wire. Oh, there you go. There's a light switch actually. That's where I'm going to start the power, and then another wire will come out of there and go to the other light switches. And there'll be 3-wire. I don't think I have any 3-way switches here in the apartment itself, but you know, 3-way switches require 1 more lead, so that's 4 wires plus the ground. So technically it's a 4. But anyway, moving along.
So as you can see, I'm just doing the rough end. This is the power supply from the breaker box. These are the first 2. This one's for the lights. The other one I ran is for the GFI for the bathroom. And I've already pushed the wire down to the middle bathroom. Just made a U and then went to the breaker box, and I'll cut that later. I'm making them a little bit longer than I need to, just so I can splice it properly into the boxes once I get them. I don't have there's a 4-gang going over there, and a 2-gang rather, box going into both bathrooms at the sink. Just because usually you have a charger for your razor or something, whatever, hair dryer or stuff like that. Anyway, so instead of just 2, I put 4 in there. Anyway, I'm waiting on those boxes, so those are coming, and I'll put those in when I get them. Probably mid next week. Everything's coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll see where we get from that. But anyway, it's really hot up there. I cut the holes, as you saw in the time lapse. I put the hose split in half to surround the hole rather than trying to make a smooth transition on the metal. And it's pretty sweaty. So anyway, I got the holes, and all the wires go through these holes. That's all going to be foamed in later, so I'm not worried about any of that. Next, I'm going to drop this is for the lights I just dropped. 1 circuit for all the lights here, and then I'm going to drop another circuit for 2 circuits actually for sockets from this side of the building, and the living room area. It's going to be one set of sockets as well. So there's enough in there. There's like 8 to 10. I know you can put more. Not all of them going to be used, whatever, but I rather just break it up into 2 zones so I just don't have 1 failure point if anything happens. But anyway, it's just wire. I know it's not really cheap right now, but it is what it is. So I rather split it. So go with that. I see a lot of people, a lot of the builders, especially track kind of style builders, they'll do 1 power circuit for an entire room, or more than 1 room, and I find that really kind of hazardous. Lights and sockets, in my opinion, shouldn't be on the same circuit, but a lot of people seem to do that. Anyway, it is what it is. It's my version of whatever. We'll see how it goes.
So more of the same. So I'm just running around. You know, time lapse is fun. Just moving the wire, so I didn't have to do any drilling. I put it to the first socket that just kind of makes sense. Drop down the wire, and then you'll see me string wire. I think I videotaped it. This is in the garage where I'm actually pulling the wire. I unload it, and then I pull it through, label it, and move.
So here we have the first set of power wires leading up to through the ceiling of the containers. I'll take you into the containers in a second, but they're all labeled for each circuit. The middle rooms, the offices, 2 offices, bath, and the spare bedroom. There's 3 circuits there, not including the GFI. So that's 4 total, right? So this is what it looks like coming from in the middle containers. So I left a little extra slop in a couple of the wires. This is the beginning of the socket circuit. That's going to be easy. Just drill holes through each stud and kind of wrap around the room. The other ones are sockets going to Angie's office and spare bedroom. And then there's the ceiling fan and light. That's what I call that, a light circuit. And then if we mosey on through to the spare bath, middle bath, we have the wires that are coming down to the GFI. I didn't splice them or cut them yet. It's going to provide power to the apartment bathroom as well for the GFI, the 4-plug socket. We'll do that. It's very easy terminating or starting the circuit on the outside wall, because I don't have to drill any holes in the the studs or anything like that. I basically just draped it over the ceiling. Remember, it's all going to be spray foamed, but I'm going to have to get some fasteners to secure the wire to the stud as per code. And here's the apartment. I don't know, say it's a knockout, but that's the hole in the ceiling where I put the wires through. So there's the beginning of the spare bedroom socket circuit. And then if we follow the wires on the ceiling, there's going to be a light switch, and I'm going to run the light circuit. There's going to be a fan in the middle of the room somewhere, somewhere here. And all the fans and the lights are connected on a single circuit, so one breaker for that. There's the wire up there for the GFI. I'm sharing the GFI with the center bath. And then the socket power input terminates right there, or begins right there, terminates, whatever. Not sure which one's the right word, but it's all pretty straightforward. It's just draped over the studs and those joists. Again, it's going to be spray foamed, but I still have to secure the wires to the studs with those little U nails. I don't have any. I threw them out when we moved, I think, a couple of years ago. So that was that. That's just the first day of pulling wire. I was taking my time. It's pretty hot. Most of the work was upstairs, so it was pretty sweaty up there. Now I'm going to start doing, since I don't have all the boxes yet, I'm going to start doing the socket build out and the lights in the spare bedroom and the offices, because I have all that stuff. So anyway, thanks for following, and we'll see you when I start doing time lapse for the socket installs and the light switches. Catch you later.
So instead of doing the light circuit and stuff, I basically end of the day I decided to start making the pigtails for all my my sockets. There are wires, positive, negative, or hot, and white wire, and then the neutral pigtails for all the sockets I'm going to put in place. I'm using things called Wagos, or versions of Wagos, that are clear plastic connectors. I do not like wire ties. I know most people use wire ties. I've seen them come very loose. Not a very big fan of them, and they sometimes don't have very good contact. So here I am making the pigtails. This is a tedious process. It's one at a time. I need the pigtails. I already had some neutrals. I bought them pre-made. They're made for metal boxes, so I had to take the screws out and then fit it to the switch or the socket. And on I went. And then I called Angie to help me out. So that made things a lot easier. And we knocked out, I think, 30 of them while we sat there. So here's Angie and myself doing a full production time-lapse sockets. I think, like I said, we knocked out about 30 of these. So I'm making the pigtails roughly 4 to 5 inches long, and then we're going to use the Wagos to connect them in the boxes. We're going to do the same thing to the switches. So we have about, I guess, around 200 of these things to do total. We have about 183 socket boxes. I think some are doubles. And then we have light switches, and we were using the toggle switches, which are double in a one gang, and even a triple switch in a one gang. So that's 3 switches in a single gang box. That should be interesting. Hope it all fits. It should, because the Wagos are kind of small. They're flat, so when you plug the wires into the connector, everything is nice and flat. The wire ties people use, the nuts, they're quite large, especially if you put more conductors in there. But anyway, moving on. Making progress.
Hey guys, Retech here, Blueberry Hill. So this is July 17th. I'm going to do about an hour's worth of pulling wire. I'm not going to start crimping things yet, but I'm going to start pulling in the apartment. I'm going to start pulling the socket wires through. And maybe extend the ones for the lights. The lights are going to be a 12.3, and the sockets are all 12.2 gauge wire. Pretty straightforward. You basically go from socket to socket. I do have to go over a couple of doors and stuff. I'll show you that, probably in time lapse. And pretty straightforward to pull the wire. Benefit of doing the container thing, the 2x that are against the wall, there's enough room in there, and I can just slide the wire behind. And there's enough resistance here and there to keep the wire at a certain height from the floor. I'll see if I have to actually use those plastic staples, they call them, to secure them. I probably will before I go into the box. So I'm going to pull a little extra, and then we'll go into the box, and then we'll do the connections at a later time, maybe tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to go buy some more 12-2 wire. Funny thing, Home Depot, we got the last set, they ran out, so we're going to Lowe's to pick up a few bundles of that. But anyway, we received some of the orders for the other boxes, so we're good. I'm going to start laying those out later this week. So we should have most of the boxes now. We're waiting on the 2 gang boxes. That seems to be a problem to get those too. We ordered, I think, 12 or 16 of them. We don't have too many of the 2 gang stuff, but we do have a few switches here for the outdoor lights and the other lights and stuff. So I'm waiting on those, and when we get those, we'll install those, and we should be pretty good on components. And then the rest is just spending time to wire everything up, the switches and the power. But anyway, we'll see. You should see that in the time lapse, and we'll talk at you later.
So eBay was really good to us. I got all the single gang boxes. Two big orders came in, so we ended up with another. Let's see, one box had 25, the other had 30. So I ended up putting. So I'm doing some of the wire now. The following day, I actually did the rest of the boxes, and I have one spare box, which I'm sure I'm going to use somewhere. And now I'm waiting on the 2 gang boxes, which I believe when I'm doing this video, they showed up. So we're good to go there. Here you see me stringing the wire in the ceiling area. This is for the sockets to go all around. I'm not cutting anything or actually joining anything. I'm just making it long enough so I can put it in the boxes. And then once we get everything in place, we'll connect the way it goes in place. We're not going to put the sockets in place, of course, because we're going to have to get an electrical inspection. And they do it before wallboard, so I'm not sure why they do it in that kind of order, because nothing's really connected. But the stuff should be relatively okay, and the panel has to be in place as well, and so forth. But anyway, here I am just muddling along. It's going pretty easy. Just moving the wires behind the studs, and off I went. Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk at you later.